Well, we're at the finish of this Netwerk24 Paarl cycle tour, and what a success it's been for the inaugural edition. Of course, blessed to have the legendary Phil Liggett out with us here. Let's get his thoughts on the Netwerk24 event, which started off for the first time, rekindled the old Sunlamburger, but a healthy turnout, full 1,200 riders, and what support for you at the end here.
Yeah, and while we're talking, of course, they're still coming in, but we've met all the prize winners. It was nice to see a fully international podium at the finishing line. Paarl has big ambitions to do things really well for cycling in the future, and give a little wump to the famous Boxing Day track meeting as well. The talent is here, living in and around the regions of Paarl, and so I really hope that they can find the funding and really turn the style on. I've enjoyed my day out, Johnny. It was kind of unexpected because I wasn't planning to be in Cape Town, and I came down earlier this week, and it's been a nice end to my little return to Paarl, shall we say.
Well, welcome back, but Phil Liggett turns 80 next year,
goodness,
an amazing 80, and he still continues on the Tour de France. Phil, any sign of maybe hanging up that microphone, or have we got you for another decade or so?
I've always said you can't retire from a job you don't have. I've always felt I just do my passion. I'm just lucky enough to have been employed by every English-speaking television in the world. And I don't know what the secret is, but I don't want to know what the secret is, because then I might lose it. I'm very happy working. I'm very lucky, touch wood, I've got my health, and I enjoy being here in Africa, and I like seeing success, especially with the young ones coming through. I have to say, Johnny, I've been really impressed by they seem to have missed me on the Tour de France, but I haven't retired like everybody thinks. This year was my completion of my 50th Tour de France, but I only work now for American TV, which is rather sad. Nobody's fault, it's the way life has evolved, but I miss working and pointing out the South African success.
Now, it's great to have you with us, but few people probably know that you own property in South Africa. Tell us about your place up in the north.
I feel very much a local. I used to live down here in Gordons Bay, and then I wanted somewhere for the animals, and I wanted a piece of land in the bush, right up in the north on the Kruger. And I was lucky enough to find a place, and the animals found me, and it's a very remote spot, and so that's where we base when we're in Africa. Yeah.
Really wonderful, and of course Phil doing his 50th, unbelievable 50th Tour de France coverage this year, started in '73. And Phil, that was a surprise do I think they gave you on the tour this year.
I was really lucky. First of all, I don't like being made a fuss of, you know, and I was really frightened of my 50th tour, because I thought, oh God, they're going to make a big presentation, I'm going to get bored, I'm going to feel embarrassed, but it was actually a very pleasant one. The organiser of the Tour de France came to me just after the race finished in Calais, stage 5, and it was actually the girls came over and said, Phil, don't run away as soon as the race is finished. When you're off air, we want to make a little thing. They had to give me a hint, because otherwise they know I jump in the car and drive to the next stage. And when I walked around the corner, the organisation was there. There was some beer, of course, and some wine, of course, the French, some cheese, and just the people who organised the Tour de France. And I'll tell you what, that they just, up behind my shoulder, Christian Prudhomme, the current race director of the Tour de France, tapped me on the shoulder and said, Phil. And I turned around and said, oh, Christian. He said, this is for you. And they gave me the maillot jaune, the yellow jersey of the Tour. And he said, it's the only time in my life I've ever signed a yellow jersey. And it's signed Christian Prudhomme. And the other signature on it was done earlier in the day when I wasn't there at the start, and that was Jean-Marie Leblanc, who was the director of the Tour de France for most of my career. Christian took over from Jean-Marie, who had retired. It's a big moving moment.
Really amazing. Well, there we go. Big welcome again to South Africa. Sad that he's leaving on Monday, but bigger legend you don't get in the world of two wheels. Phil Liggett.
Thank you.